Listen to this quote from Psalms 18:30. As for God, his way is perfect. The word of the Lord is proven. He is a shield to all who trust in him. He is a shield to all who trust in him. I want to show you a picture. What's that? It's a Star of David. People call that a Star of David or a Jewish star. But in Hebrew, that's not called a Star of David or a Jewish star. In Hebrew, that's called a Mogen David, which is a shield of David. That word shield is used in the Bible a lot. There's a legend that this was the shape of King David's shield. And it had sharp points so he could use it in battle. When I came across the Psalms that says that God's word is a shield to all who trust in him, that was the picture that came to my mind. A powerful, defensive, and offensive weapon for those who trust in the word of the Lord. All righty. That's negligible senescence. You can Google it if you want and read tons of articles on it and talk about other animals. I found one report about a parrot that was supposedly, it belonged to Sir Winston Churchill, and it's still alive in England today, but nobody could prove it. This family says, yes, the family passed it down, and they told us it was true. But since nobody could document it, it doesn't make it to the actual facts. But there's a good chance it's so, especially if the one that Benjamin Franklin could have known lived till 1966. All right, so the Bible opens up by the time we get to the 5th chapter with these genealogies, talking about people living over 900 years. Some people think it's a fairy tale. I don't. Some people think it's a metaphor. I don't. I think it's a literal genealogy. So why is it in there, though? Why does the Bible trace family trees from Adam forward? If you'll remember, for those of you who were with us last week, there was a promise given in Genesis chapter 3 that there would be this thing called the seed of a woman. That somehow a woman would have a baby without a man participating. And it was a prophecy of the Messiah to come. And this messianic prophecy, who was going to come from a woman, the genealogy was traced. Started with just saying a woman. By the time we get to Genesis 12, which we're not there yet, I'm just looking forward, this seed of the woman is promised to come through the line of Abraham. And then by the time we get to Chronicles and Kings, the seed of the woman is said to come through King David's line. Well, God promised the seed of the woman, through Abraham, through David. How do we know who the seed of the woman is, who the Messiah is, and how do we know if God can keep his word unless we have a genealogy to trace? That's why the genealogies are in the Bible, to follow God's promise and plan all the way to fulfillment. From Adam to Noah to Abraham to David to Jesus. And that's why Matthew, the New Testament, opens with these words, Matthew 1:1. A record of the genealogy of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. And that's why the genealogy is in the Bible. I discovered this really cool thing about genealogy a few years ago. Let me show you a table. And I know this table is too small to see, so I'm just going to have to point it out for you. That bottom reddish colored box says Adam in it. It gives the Bible verse, Genesis 5:1-5, and then it gives how long he lived at the end of the bar there, and it says 930 years. So they just look at Genesis 5 and put bars as to how long these people lived, and they stack them up. And then if you trace the length of these bars, we find some very interesting things. For example, Adam lived 930 years, which means he could have easily known Methuselah. Methuselah was like the longest lived man ever, 969 years, and he died right before Noah. All right? So Adam lived 930 years. He could have known Methuselah. Now, Methuselah lived 969 years, which means he could have easily known Noah. So from Adam to Noah, there's just like one generation. Even though you read it in the Bible, it's like 1,000 years. So Noah could have had secondhand information about what happened in the Garden of Eden. How cool is that? That's just, you know, it's not like, oh, the story could have been lost by 1,000 years. Maybe he could have talked to these guys. Said, yeah, my dad Adam told me one day he and mom were walking through the garden. That was the worst day of their life. Well, what happened? Well, it was the craziest thing. You know, the snake started talking. A talking snake? Yeah. I've never seen one of those before. I haven't seen one either. But the snake told mom to eat this fruit. And mom said, God told me not to eat the fruit. But the snake tricked her and she ate the fruit. Next thing we know, they're kicked out of the garden and everything hurts. Good summary of Genesis right there, 1 through 3. Story got passed down. So Methuselah could have easily known Noah. Now Noah lived 950 years, which means he could have known Abraham's father, Terah. So from Adam to Abraham, there's only like 4 people separating them. And that's when human history really starts coming to the fore. Other cultures are on the planet at this time. They've got their own written histories. And so basically, from the beginning of the Bible, when it really starts with human history, to Adam, even though it's a couple thousand years, it's only 4 people. People say, where'd the information come from? It could have come from eyewitnesses passed down by 4 people. From Adam, from Noah by 1 person. Somebody could have known Noah to talk to Abraham. It's amazing, these things.